We have an Azure virtual machine. From Azure Security Center, we receive the following high-severity recommendation: install endpoint protection solutions on the virtual machine. What should we do to resolve the issue causing the high-severity recommendation? A. Add the Microsoft Antimalware extension to virtual machine. B. Install Microsoft System Center Security Management Pack for endpoint protection on virtual machine. C. Add the Network Watcher agent for Windows extension to virtual machine. D. Onboard virtual machine to Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection. Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. Adding Microsoft Defender Advanced Threat Protection provides a comprehensive threat management solution integrated with other security services. This would address the need for advanced protection features necessary for full security coverage on virtual machine. Other options like installing specific extensions or tools may cover some aspects but lack the breadth needed for high-severity recommendations, which likely require a broader threat management approach. We manage an Azure subscription that includes a user and an Azure Container Registry. We have enabled Content Trust for registry and need to ensure that the user can create trusted images while following the principle of least privilege. Which two roles should we assign to the user? A. Acra Core Antenna Reader. B. Contributor. C. Acra Push. D. Acra Magesigner. E. Acra Core Antenna Writer. Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. To ensure user can only create trusted images in registry using least privilege, assign these two. We have an Active Directory forest with a single domain. We also have an Azure Active Directory tenant with the same name. We have been tasked with integrating Active Directory and the Azure Active Directory tenant. We intend to deploy Azure Active Directory Connect. The strategy for the integration must ensure that password policies and user login limitations affect user accounts that are synced to the Azure Active Directory tenant. Solution: we recommend the use of federation with Active Directory Federation services. Does this solution meet the goal for us? Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. Incorrect. In Azure, you plan to configure a variety of Azure policies that use deploy, if not exist, audit, if not exist, append, and deny effects. Which effect requires a managed identity for the assignment? An audit if no exist. B. Append. C. Deploy if no exist. D. Deny. Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. The correct answer is deploy if not exist, requires a managed identity for assignment when using policies that include effects like audit if not exist and deploy if not exist. TUPS docs Microsoft Combs Latin Azure governance Cipolisai how to remediate resources. We are tasked with configuring and securing the network environment by deploying a virtual machine to configure and ensure that all network traffic flows correctly through this setup. The main objective is to achieve robust security for our environment. What should we configure? A system route. B. A network security group. C. A user-defined route. Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. To ensure all network traffic is routed through Azure Virtual Machine, the appropriate configuration involves using a user-defined route. This allows for precise control over how data flows through VM1, ensuring that external connections are correctly directed to specific in-port and out-port configurations. Our Azure subscription includes 100 virtual machines with Azure Diagnostics enabled. We have been tasked with analyzing the security events of a Windows. We have already accessed Azure Monitor. Which of the following options should we use? A. Application log. B. Metrics. C. Activity log. D. Logs. Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. The appropriate tool for comprehensive security event analysis in this scenario is Logs. Logs provides a broad view of all relevant logs, including application system, user activity, and network data, which are essential for understanding virtual machine. We have an Azure subscription that contains an Azure SQL database. We plan to audit this database. To configure the audit log destination, the solution must meet several requirements: Custo query language, support for querying events, minimize administrative effort. What should we configure? A. An event hub. B. A storage account. C. A log analytics workspace. Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. To effectively audit the Azure SQL database while leveraging custodious query for event querying and minimizing administrative effort, the optimal configuration is a log analytics workspace. We are working with an Active Directory forest containing a single domain named wylandindustries.com. We also manage an Azure Active Directory tenant with the same name. We have been tasked with integrating Active Directory and the Azure Active Directory tenant, and we plan to deploy Azure Active Directory Connect. Our integration strategy must ensure that password policies and user login limitations affect user accounts synced to Azure Active Directory while reducing the number of required servers. Solution: we recommend using pass-through authentication and seamless single sign-on with password hash synchronization. Does this solution meet the goal? Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. The given solution uses pass-through authentication with Azure Active Directory Connect, which ensures that Active Directory accounts can sync to Azure Active Directory tenants automatically. This includes seamless single sign-on, allowing users on one directory to access the other effortlessly without manual setup. Password policies are managed internally via single sign-on, reducing the number of required passwords. User logins are handled synchronously across directories. We have been tasked with creating an Azure Key Vault using PowerShell. We have been informed that objects deleted from the Key Vault must be retained for a set period of 90 days. Which two of the following parameters must we use in conjunction to meet the requirement? A. Enabled for deployment. B. Enable purge protection. C. Enable for template deployment. D. Enable self-delete. Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. To meet the requirement of keeping deleted objects for 90 days in Azure Key Vault, you need to configure Enable Purge Protection, Enable Soft Delete. These settings work together to maintain the 90-day retention policy. Our company has an Azure subscription that includes 2 virtual machines, which both have a status of stopped. The virtual machines belong to different resource groups. We have also created 2 Azure policies that are both configured with the virtual machine's resource type. The policy configured for first resource group has a policy definition of not allowed resource types, while the policy configured for second resource group has a policy definition of allowed resource type. We then create a read-only resource lock on first virtual machine, as well as a read-only resource lock on second resource group. Which of the following is T or UE with regards to the scenario for us? Okay, now pause the video here, have a bit of think, and then continue when you are ready. When you will create a virtual machine in second resource group, it will give you error. The selected resource group is read-only. Not forget to like and subscribe.